And After This Our Exile has has something I could not foresee. It has marginalia. It has extensive marginalia, and I didn't realize that it was going to have marginalia until I started laying it out. And when I did start doing that, I realized, much to my astonishment, that there was an entire other story that was going to be run past the main one, which I never read from. And it really is. It's not another story in the sense of having characters, but I can't really describe it. I don't know what the word would be. It's kind of a superscript text that, pardon me, runs over or under or through or anyway, it contains a lot of straight historical knowledge. At first, I thought it was just going to be a translation of difficult terms, and so it is at the beginning, and all through I use it that way. But it also contains examples of what I'm then fictionalizing right there on the page. I have no intention of, laying claim to inventing this stuff. So this piece of marginalia is here on page 139. Wartime created a brief flurry of specialty acts. In 1917, one of these, called the Shrapnel Dodgers, brought together 4 Canadian veterans, one blind, one missing an eye, one an arm, and another a leg, who played homemade trench instruments and sang and narrated their trench experiences. Oh my God. The Shrapnel Dodgers played the Winter Garden Theatre in Toronto the week of 10 September 1917. Jesus Christ. That's from a book called Later Stages, put up by U of T Press. So, that's what really happened. Here's a tamer version of something like that. Impresario Allward had not only to find 4 men who could sing, but 4 men who had also been A, narrowly missed by shells, B, not quite missed by shells, or best of all, C, spared by shells that did not explode. This was not a case of method acting before its time. Soldiers could tell men who had been through shelling from those who had not. Stan was no musician, but Corporal Andrew Ramage was, and 1 leg less, after the PPCLI had reached La Folie Wood. Gunner Catchpole's battery had been among the few to suffer from the German counter-barrage fire at Vimy. Counter-battery, rather. Shrapnel had cost him an eye, but not his tenor voice. Private Fred Ince's baritone Stan knew from Estaminet's back of the line. His remaining arm still kept time. Lastly, stretcher-bearer Sam Overend, carrying wounded from the ridge, had slipped his load when a 5.9 buried itself in the chalk at his feet. His base was shaky, as was the rest of him, who bore no visible wounds, but that merely made him keener than the rest to prove his worth. In other words, they're all shell-shocked. So far, so good. A millinery shop in Bologna had a fair supply of straw boaters, their crowns sporting bands of tricolor bunting, for it had been 3 summers now since holiday makers had clamored for them on the beaches. All that was wanting then was someone to play the title role. Fortunately, Corporal Williams had been sent back to number 3 as well, number 3 hospital. His shoulder blighty healing nicely. In other words, the wound he had in his shoulder was healing. His costume proved difficult until someone had the bright idea of gathering all the cardboard that wrapped the men's parcels from home, bending it round a chicken wire frame. When the curtain went up, there was no curtain, just a canvas sheet stretched between 2 orderlies who ran on and off stage, their bare feet padded away to reveal Ramage, Catchpole, Ince, and Overend, complete with crutch, patch, sling, and tremor, clad as Tommies, save with the boaters in place of helmets, and beside them Stan Allward, dressed as himself. Hum, 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 and they began. You flew near, past my ear, then did not explode, and yet I'm full of fear. Nestled close, up to my side, to my side, to my side, my heart's afire. I should retire, afar I should retire, in my arms, rest complete. Never thought velocity could sound so sweet, till I met you, deep in the mud, in the mud, in the mud, you made a thud, but shed no blood, a thud, no blood, my honey. Everyone knew the tune. Oh, My Beautiful Doll had been a pre-war favorite. Some got the joke immediately, as Stan went through his repertoire of stock gestures for terror and yearning. At the end of the preparatory verses, Williams, clad as an artillery shell, with a bow around his cardboard casing and a large nose cap complete with feather for a hat, stepped out from behind a hospital blind. Oh, 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 you beautiful dud, you great big beautiful dud. Let me put my arms about you. I would not have lived without you. Oh, you beautiful dud, you great big beautiful dud. If you ever cleave me, how my heart will ache. I want to hold you, but I fear you'd break. Oh, 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 you beautiful dud. Allward's exertions had the desired effect. The unexploded but volatile Williams, his arms finned like an aerial torpedo, clasped Stan to his hollow bosom, while the quartet continued. Seize me, dear, I don't care. Let us fly together through a blast of air. Nevermore. Bombardment's waif, not a waif, not a waif. I fear no strafe. With you I'm safe. Strafe with you I'm safe. Precious prize, how she flies. Now we're going to visit Fritz in paradise. Press your nose again to mine. Set the time, oh shell divine. Again you'll climb, divine you'll climb, my honey. Needless to say, honey is H-U-N, the hun. And setting the time is, they actually they could set the time when the shell would explode. And so on. This act called Shellnanigans, oh my God, was just enough for Jenny to prepare for her play. So that comes before what I just read you just now.